Hi, and welcome to the first lesson in the Inner Kingdom and the Queendom Transformation Program. I'm so honored that we're here together doing this journey for you, and I'm mostly so excited for you because you've been curious enough, been hungry enough to want to explore your inner world, and understand how the inner parts of you, the more invisible parts of you, are influencing and affecting the results, the experiences that you're having in your outer world. And so in this lesson, we're going to take a deeper look into who you are at your core, okay, and understand what's been happening in there. And also we're going to have a look at, what makes you who you are. And then we're going to do a bit of self-reflection and look into how you can sort of transform yourself on a deeper level. And I'll explain what I mean by this. Here's what we're going to be covering in this lesson. We're going to cover how to build a sense of deep core confidence. So what do I mean by that? That there are modules, there are methods, and there are tips and tricks and how we can change our state at any given moment. For example, if you want more presence in your life, you just drop down, cross your legs, put your two fingers together, place them on your legs and start to meditate, right? We can drop into, this deep meditation, and we can create more presence and calmness in our lives, and that can really help us focus. But it is temporary, okay? We do need, this is a practice that we need to maintain consistently. Now, this does affect our state. However, there are a lot of methods out there that can help us alter our state, alter how we feel, right, when we need to. But the difference is that they're not always long lasting. And so the work that you have, decided to lean in, get curious about, is work that is truly transformational because it occurs on the deepest levels. It occurs at the roots of who you are. And so we're going to look at, in this lesson, how to build that deep core confidence and what it's made up of. We're also going to look at where this all began, where this journey of you began to started to, take shape. And we're going to look at what we now need to solve to take back our kingdom, our queendom. We're going to look at our roles, what they are, how they came about, and how to resign from our current roles, right? And we're also going to look and do some self-reflection and some self-ceremonies to help set up for the integration session that we will do once you've completed everything that's required in this pre-learning. Now, this pre-learning is designed to massage and to warm up and stretch your subconscious mind, ready for the work that's ahead. So it's very important that you take the time to associate into the work that's here in this pre-learning. And then once you feel in your inner world that, the work that has been presented here has been completed to a level that you truly feel is ready to be taken to the next level through the integration session, then you'll book in for that. So for now, let's just concentrate on what is going to be required for you to successfully successfully complete this pre-learning on the deepest level you can. And to do that, we're going to first look at having a look at the why. Why would we even do this work? So look, the problem with not doing this level of work around our roles and who we are and our identity is that if we don't, then we can be living behind a mask and continue to live behind a mask, which is a version of ourselves that is false, a version of ourselves that we have essentially painted and created to be accepted in the world. And a lot of I'm going to say everybody lives behind this mask until we have done some form of this inner transformational work where we can, where we no longer have to keep the mask at arm's length and ready to put on when we need to protect ourselves, or when we need to, shield ourselves. But we can begin to live without it. And so this is the importance of this work. The other reason why it's important is because if we don't, then we go through life and experience trouble having, you know, experiencing or expressing our emotions. So we essentially we we have trouble accessing and expressing and leaning into all emotions. So there are no good or bad emotions. There simply are a very extensive list of different emotions with different flavors. And if we if we don't look at the roles that we're playing and you know what is behind all of that, then we do have trouble expressing emotions. And emotional intimacy is something that really brings us back to, you know, our core self. It really allows us to experience our life fully when we can fully experience emotions, because emotions, when they're unexpressed, then they remain inside of us. They remain unexpressed. They remain just sort of trapped in our physical body and in our being, and that has all sorts of effects on us. So we have trouble expressing emotions when we don't do this level of transformational work. The other one here is that we feel held back in the things that we do, specifically like in our business. And you're here because, you know, you are looking to build something from the ground up, do something out of the ordinary, and build a future or a legacy for yourself, for your family. And doing something like this requires taking risks, requires taking leaps, and you know, requires action. And sometimes when we've got roles in place and these roles have a certain way of doing things, when we go to do something that's out of the ordinary for that role, and that role is embedded in our identity, then when we go to do it, we feel like we can't, and we're held back. Something's holding us back, something heavy there holding us back, even though you know, we've read books, or we've talked with a mentor, or we've talked with other people who have done this experience and have suggested to do this certain activity, to take this certain leap. But yet when we go to do it, it feels like we can't, we feel stuck. And so this is why it's so important that we do this work, because if we don't, we will continually feel held back and like we're not moving. So the promise of doing this work is that if we do, we begin to know our worth. We can see our worth. We can see what's inside of ourselves. We can see how bright our light is within, and we have proof of that because we've journeyed through it. We've explored it. We've understood it. And this is the beauty of understanding our inner worth, is that we can go on to, you know, understanding what we're truly capable of, which is an awesome thing to know and to operate from. The other thing is that once we have seen what's inside, is that we begin to fall deeper in love with what we see and feel within ourselves. We can look in the mirror and we can accept ourselves wholly and fully. We can, yes, we're going to have our days because we're human, but all in all, we can, you know, we've done a bulk after doing this transformational work. We've done the foundational, we've done the heavy lifting, and now it's just about maintenance. And we can look in the mirror, we can, you know, embrace ourselves at every step of the way and every new challenge, and we can accept what we see and what we feel. And what that means is that we are able to move forward easily. The other thing is that we're able to express all of ourselves. We can express ourselves fully without the worry of judgment from the outside. So we're putting all of our energy into expressing who we need to be, who we want to be, what we want to feel, without, you know, one eye on what's happening outside of ourselves and what might be said and what might be cast our way if we do things a certain way, because we don't worry about that anymore. What we're wanting to do and what we're inspired to do is express ourselves fully. So that is the promise of doing this level of transformational work, is that we're able to express ourselves in all ways, shapes or forms, and we're doing it because we're inspired to. So here's